So welcome everyone to today's Zoom Satsang at the Hedekand Universal Ashram, and I'm Ramloti, and I'm grateful to be with you all from Crestone, Colorado in the United States, where it's the morning for us. And we're grateful to have Nila here today with us, and she lives in Germany and has many different stories to share with us and learnings and teachings, and we look forward to that. And like always, everyone has the opportunity to ask questions or to share something that might be pertinent at a particular time. So welcome, Nila. Also on the screen, we have Pujari from Russia and Hiraman from Bellingham, Washington. So we have a nice selection of people from around the world, and they've been helping me with these satsangs for the last 4 or 5 months, however long they've been going on. It's been wonderful. So welcome, Nila. Do you want to begin by telling us about how you came to Babaji, how you found this all out?
I can share. Shall I tell now? Yes?
Yes.
Oh, I guess it happens with quite a number of people when they are from destiny a little pressed, that then they open them more to the divine, yeah, in deep prayer. And so it was for me. I was deeply praying to the infinite God, and who appeared was Babaji, yeah. I had heard from Babaji through Gabriele Vasim, Malti, yeah, years before, but time wasn't ripe. My first spirit teacher was a mother in Pondicherry, Auroville. She came always, many times inside. And finally she said, if you want to meet me, you have to come now to India. And I did. It was short before she left the earth. And then after, I was not really open to an inner teacher. She has been my teacher. But then Malti came, showed us Sylvester. That is last night of 1977. She showed slides of Babaji, some, not many. And my heart was very touched. And same night, I dreamed, I go immediately to him in dream, yeah. But then it turned out that was not so easy during daylight, because everything came up in me where I was still catched in some ego theme or whatever, yeah. And I was pressed by destiny because of partnership theme. I tried to solve it well, but was not easy. And so when this idea, I fly to him immediately, it wouldn't go away. It was there. And then I prayed immediately, Babaji, come please, help me. So I was telling to my friends in the house, we were 4 in the house living, and together with me. And I said, I'm now in like a monk, I don't come out, yeah. And I was praying all the time, Babaji, allow me to come. If not, I don't. And my ego said, oh, you can come in September. Why so easy? Why so quickly? But my inner wanted immediately. And so it happened that finally, when I had innerly, inside, I decided I really want to come, yeah? And in this night, Babaji came so overwhelmingly, he took me out of the body and up into his infinite love. And this love was light, but a light that doesn't hurt. It's not bright shining like that, but just, I wished everybody would experience this love, of this divine love. So I was with him and forever. I thought I'm never back in a body again, never. And I knew this is the infinite God, because in my outer consciousness, I have, of course, long ago read autobiography of a yogi from Yogananda, and he speaks about Babaji, as you know, all know. And it seems he was a great teacher in the Himalayas. Yeah? But what I experienced was very different. Not a great teacher. Infinite Lord was far beyond my understanding, and was overwhelming. That was happening in the night of from 9 to 10 January. And the impression was I never come back in a body, but the same night he brought me back. And it was very difficult to come through the throat till I was in. And then the room was filled with a wonderful light, most wonderful light. And I was still in bliss, even if I was in body. After this experience, and I have forgotten, excuse me, I have forgotten something important. Before he went, he put me into the infinite of his being. He has shown me all my lives, life by life by life by life, and grace to his presence. I understood them on this level, on this higher level. Thrilling lives. And this was a book of my lives, which he has shown me. And then up into infinite. So you can imagine when you experience this, you never want to go back. And then I came back. He brought me back. And this is experience. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Then I booked my flight immediately, quick, on 15th, very quick, and January. And I was flying with a friend. We had a Sun Energy Congress in Delhi. I was never in North India, before in South India with the mother one time, in Auroville, but North India was new. And so I was there, very quick in India. And really, then my human fears came up. Now I have to meet the infinite Lord. How can I do? Yeah, my personality was afraid, even if the soul was utterly happy. Yeah? But it was not so easy. So I needed some days in Delhi to land fully and to take the bus, which we all know, from Delhi to Haldwani. Malti had instructed me. In Haldwani, you take a rickshaw to Patel Chowk. And there is a man, a good-looking, little Tibetan-looking tall man, and he will arrange a taxi for you for Damsite. This was what he had told me. So I expected in Haldwani a tall, good-looking man who arranged for taxi, that's all. But what I saw was something different than just a man for a taxi. It was Muniraji. And he was quite strict because he had expected me one day earlier. I had mixed in Delhi the days somehow, was so moved. Anyhow, when the taxi was there with two doctors who were in the bus, one Indian, one American doctor, and one little girl. The four of us were about to go. And Muniraj stood at the stairs of his shop, and I looked up, and I saw a king of vast realms of light. This is what I saw. Very moving. And my deepest love was totally inflamed. I have had this deep love for him. Very touching. He was silent standing. Nothing, as you know, he's very silent. A king of vast realms of light. That was standing there. So most wonderful, yeah? And then dump site, as you know, and going through the river with the luggage the porters carry. And in Herakan, beautiful valley, as we all know, fantastic. Art was singing going through this valley. And it was afternoon, late afternoon, and they were preparing for evening arati. I didn't know the rules all there. Anyhow, Babaji was expected to come. And you can imagine, after this divine experience of the infinite God, and now see a human being come along. And he was at that time no more so slim like at the beginning, a little more round, as we know. And he went straight. And then he called me immediately. And his eyes were like fire, really burning through my bones. I had the feeling my bones start burning. So intense was my look, his look. And he said, I met you in Germany. That was the first thing. Your name is Nila, you're blue heaven. This was, he took me up in the heavens. Yeah. And he has taken me, yeah, into, that was what he said. And I sit down again. It was very touching to get the slightest little understanding of him, to understand after this experience at home, yeah, of the infinite being. And so came also in the night, and in the night already he showed somehow that I had, why he's more round, because he's taking upon himself so much of other people, what they bring. We Westerner bring him our sins. And later I had a very, I take it now to see, and he came one time later, yeah, from Bombay riding through the valley. He was slim, Babaji slim. And upstairs, 1980, first time, many Westerners waiting. Babaji went up after 2 hours, round belly. He has taken in time of nothing, stuff upon himself, yeah. But in this first night, I didn't know, I just understood he takes some problems upon him, carrying them physically. Anyhow, next morning, he asked me to go to Haridwar. My goodness, I just arrived and now should go to Haridwar, near Rishikesh, yeah? And he wanted to give me a guide, an Indian guide. I was not thrilled about that, really. Later on, I understood what he meant with this Haridwar old story, King Daksha and Sati, when Sati incarnated. But this is a deep, deep theme. Why he wanted me immediately go. Sati burned herself, left the earth, because King Daksha was not honoring her, really. This is a big story. Anyhow, I recovered from the Sati, from the Haridwar story to go immediately. And then he went with the whole group. Sheila was there at the time. And not so many Westerners, but the few other men who arrived with me and some more, but not many. And we had to go through the river. So again, next day, walking through the river, yeah, which I had crossed last day before. Anyhow, I asked him, Babaji, may I stay till the end of January? Then my flight back is going. No, he asked, are you leaving tomorrow? Imagine, I had just arrived and now I should leave. What a shock. And then I took my little notebook and showed him, can I stay till the end of January? Yeah. And then he took my notebook and he opened, and there was a photo of a fire Swamiji. Maybe you have heard Swamiji Ganapati Satchidananda. He was in our house, he appeared there, he manifests all things. I said, no, you are the Lord of my mountain. And Swamiji Ganapati materializing all the things all the time. That was like a brother from heaven, but not a teacher for me, yeah? Anyhow, I had the shock, possibly having to leave tomorrow, yeah? That was boom, down, and my Babaji was walking quickly through the river, and I slowly walked. And I thought, I don't understand you, Babaji. I really don't. And I was only now praying to the infinite God. You can understand after this immense inner experience first and now seeing outside and not understanding. Infinite Lord, with every step, infinite Lord, till Dumpside. Happily, there was a chai shop. I took a chai. I thought, oh, happily, some hot chai now. Then I saw Babaji in distance, and I thought, I can't take this chai for myself. So I went to him, and it was Schwapsen über. Was heißt this in English? Anyhow, the chai arrived with him, and he said, no, I don't, thank you, I don't drink chai. So I could do it, and I saw other friends, Leonard Orr and others. I said, would you like? I thought first everybody else before. I said, no, in India you don't do this. You have to do yourself. You don't drink with everybody. Anyhow, we went back, and I was told Babaji goes always at the back with a group. He gives as a last, the others sent before. So I was marching, I knew the way now from the first walk and second. I was watching very concentrated, infinite Lord, only this. Yeah. Then a man stood there, the river was quite deep, and with many luggages, 7 about. He looked at me straight and said, with his great brown eyes, it's a little difficult this way, huh? I said, yes, it is. I was only marching infinite Lord. And when I has passed him, I was a moment wondering, how can he pass with all these luggages through the many, many rivers, arms, yeah? I looked back, he was still standing there with his suitcases. I was a little wondering how it's possible that he came there at all. And then I continued and arrived at the cave. In the morning, I had seen Leonard Orr coming out of the cave, in and out. So I thought maybe I can go into his cave. You know, it's a Kailash site. So I went in, and bliss embraced me. Just bliss. And the wonderful smell that Babaji has emanated in the morning at the temple. We all know this beautiful smell, the fragrance. It's not rose, it's not jasmine, it's something in between. Divine fragrance. The same fragrance in the cave. So that felt good. And when I went into this wonderful, holy bliss, boom, I heard a voice outside, Babaji's voice. I thought, now I get a thunder weather, or how you call it in English, that I've dared to go into his cave, yeah? I climb out, and no thunder weather, but Babaji stood there. Do you want a cup of tea? Oh, I thought in this wilderness, a cup of tea, where does it come? It was wild then, January 78, yeah? All the wildness around. But somebody brought really a cup of tea. And later it came to me, gave me back the tea which I had offered him at Dumpside, yeah? This is how he is. And so he was sitting on a big stone, I'm kneeling in front of him. I said, Babaji, I really don't understand you. Please help me. Will you help me? And before he looked to me like a cow, even showing him, just mirroring my unconsciousness. Yeah, I didn't understand. And in the moment when I asked, will you help me, please? He became shining, radiant eyes, beautiful face. Yes, I will help you. So that was a big, yes. And most beautiful to see this immediate change of his face and his eyes shining. Yeah. So that opened all doors. And this little word, please help me, I can only show that opens all the doors. Mm-hmm. Whatever we do, that is the key. Please, yeah, help me. So that is what he did. And he went up the stairs with me and speaking, I don't want to go in all the details. So very, very deep and close, very wonderful. Later, when the others arrived, they said they were with Babaji. I said, no, I was with Babaji was with me, yeah? They said no, but the whole group was with him. So he was with the group in the back, and he also was with me walking. I learned immediately, he can appear here and there where he like. But we all experience, I guess, yeah, that you are here and others are there, and he's with them too when needed, yeah. So it went on. And on the day number 4, I was through once and for all. I knew really he is the infinite in form, in human form. And then only most beautiful days came. When I was really had gained the understanding. You know, that is different than a guru, yeah, also a divine friend who knows, who guides you. That was with Babaji a total different energy. This was with him, what I experienced, yeah. So that is the first meeting. And after this 10 days, and every day, I had brought him a book, this book I had painted. I had put together the pages, and I thought, I have not time before I go to put all my lives inside what he has shown me. I wanted to put into this book. Yeah, no, where do I hold it? And he took immediately the book under his arm when that was white, outside red. He said, this is my book. It was the empty book, yeah? And I had given him paintings because I'm a painter, so this is a good gift to give him painting material. And he started immediately painting into this book. And so in this first 12 days, this is beside this. Can you see or not?
Yeah.
This is the new world. It's a new world. He painted alone. All the other pages, I start with the end. It's a new world for all of us. And but all the other pages, he called it Omkareshwar. That means the seat of the Lord, which lives in the heart. Can you see?
Yes.
Yeah. And so he painted all these pages. He painted then Germany, the dance of Shiva in the wall, the first floor. He said I made the first floor, I didn't make the second. Oh, that's a big story about behind this all this. And then Germany, Omkareshwar, the Lord giving his orders, probably the Grail King. Herakan has deeply to do with the Holy Grail. I don't know whether you know about it. I have deep connection to this, and many experience in Herakan, what Babaji was doing there, and he's doing now. He's there also now, Babaji. I've met him in the inner. That's another story. It was beautiful, yeah, where he is. He's in the inner part of Herakan, not visible outside. When he wants to be visible, shows, yeah. Big story. I'm doing a lot of fire ceremonies, and I do them at places which call. And the Satikund, you know, Satikund in Herakan. I like to do fire ceremonies there. Inner fires, not outer, inner, mental. yeah, fire semi, and I did one there maybe half a year ago again, and then I saw Babaji sitting opposite, when you look from London to the Siddheshwar mountain. Before that, in the stones, he was sitting there, and he made his arms wide, and I was flying to him, right into his arm. I forgot to do pranam first. I did afterwards. So he's really there, yeah. But I know that is a part in Herkan. He has told this to Sheila. Sheila, you know, yeah? The sister of Nila Kapoor, yeah? And I was good friend with Sheila, had become good friend. And she showed me a part in Herkan, which Babaji has shown her. And Babaji has shown her this part before the Siddheshwar mountain, and said, there the greatest yogis are living there, under the earth, in the subtle bodies. And the most beautiful food is there. And then he said this the most beautiful food and drinking and better than earth. Then I knew this is Grail, the Holy Grail realm. Because the Grail manifests the earthborn over earth, or how you say in English. More than the earth, but it goes through the earth and transforms earth. So Babaji is there. He's surely also in Tibet or wherever, or in front of your door. He can be everywhere, as we know, and manifest on many places at the same time, you know. So, but surely he's also in Herkan, in the subtle realm, and he has there all these great yogis, and I guess they help him deeply from inside to transform our world and to protect the world also. That's my feeling. Now I have made a jump. Yeah, excuse me. So the book here, he has painted in the first few days, our house and the little temple, he said. Can you see? Yeah.
Yes, like this is beautiful.
This is your house in Germany now?
It looks like that, yes. I'm still in the same house, yeah. And this house, a friend has bought for us. I was with Marcel, Oscar Marcelins, a fantastic man, giving lectures, very clairvoyant. And this friend has bought this house for us long ago, 77. And later he bought the garden which was there. And because before the garden didn't belong to us, and Babaji painted this temple, and little temple, but there was no garden where to put the temple. So he really arranged that the garden was given to us also. When Babaji wants something, he does it. Yeah? Miraculous ways. Many experience you might also have of this. So beautiful. So, and then the garden, this a garden of Om. Yeah, can you see?
Yes, we got that. Very well.
And anyhow, that was all in the first few days in Herkan. And at the end, the book was full. And the next painting is very important. This is Tibet. Tibet, and he made all these red spots on it. This is destruction. Yeah. What we experience now very deeply, sadly, with Tibet. How difficult, yeah? But he has painted here. And obviously, it dawned on me that I would have to go to Tibet also, yeah? It came later, after Babaji has left. Very clearly, he sent me to Tibet, to Kailash there, to the Tibetan Kailash. Anyhow, this was all in the first days, and this I've shown you already, the new world. New world, this way. Yeah?
Yes, beautiful.
Yeah, with all the colors, all the rainbow colors in it, yeah? Again. And here Babaji himself is there in the new world, here.
Mhm.
Yeah. So all this in 10 days, a book. And I have another book. Next year, he painted a new one. Very different one again. Anyhow, so I was there with a book and a little temple task, and there was a bell ringing, something need to be done with a little temple, why he paints this, yeah? And a miracle, really it happened that the garden, the huge garden in front of our house was bought by a dear friend and given to us. You can do what you like, yeah? Then I was asking really Babaji writing, do you want an inner temple in the heart or an outer? Outer, yeah. So I started to make this very little means a little temple. This is a little temple. How can I show? Can you see or not? This. Can one see?
Yes, yes, we can see a little bit octagonal or a little bit round shaped little building. I've been there. I know it personally very well.
Oh, yeah.
But a very sweet,
Yeah.
sweet, strong temple.
Sweet temple. Everybody loved it. Also children, yeah. They just love to go in the little temple. Mm-hmm. And the great children, we also deeply. So the little temple came into being. And when Muniraj came, he came several times, 6 times to our place, to the west. And first when he came to the west, I thought, my goodness, Muniraj hardly knew English at the time. Yeah, not much English then. In 78, when was it when he came? 78. I immediately dropped everything and joined him. I met him in Paris, and then we continued the journey. And when he came down to our place, it looked from the balcony in the garden. I said, Muniraj, there's a little temple. She said, it's not a little temple, it's a big temple here. This is a temple over the whole garden. And later I came to know it much deeper. It's a very old place. Muniraj has been there 600 years before and has done the fire ceremony. It's exactly the same place where it's now. Very miraculous how Babaji arranges that the same people come together like 600 years ago. So who were with him, they came again now. Like Marcel, like Peter Caddy then also. From Scotland, he came down. And we married, but this is later, yeah? Anyhow, so and Babaji was so sweet, and I brought him some photos next year from the little temple. He took a very humble little photo book I had on his heart, showing his love. So temple became ever more beautiful with glass windows and everything, and all the elements were in it. And my friend Marcel, he said, this is your baby. I was so caring for the little temple all the time. Babaji, big picture of him, but I hide it before. I didn't want that people see it who were not right to see. So I had something before, one open and close. However, after 12 years, I said to Babaji, I put the dancing Shiva still outside. And I said, it's complete. I have nothing to add. It's perfectly beautiful. 3 nights after, Peter ran in my room. Peter was in there. The temple is burning. Burning in the night. So what a shock. I ran in the garden with him. There were already the fire people of Deisendorf with water. And a big blue flame went through the temple. And I knew this is under Bero Baba's control. Bero Baba, this is a protector of the divine, of us, yeah? But he brings also up every stuff in people who don't love, who are unkind. to others. And so, we all know it. However, I saw the blue flame going through all the time. I knew it's under divine control, but why? Next morning, we found Peter Docking in the night. You know about Peter Docking? Wonderful man, very clairvoyant in Scotland, in England. And he's a very close friend of Peter, of me also. Then, and Peter Docking said, this was a fire ceremony on a big scale. Yeah. Om Namah Shivaya. Next morning, all the divine things, the yantras and all this which were in the temple were unheard, but the big bells around, has all melted. So the divine things, okay, but everything else was gone. And then a deep joy was in the garden, which I didn't understand, a deep joy. So obviously something good has happened through this. Yeah, this is going off the temple. But me, as human being, I didn't understand why. I was the last one to be in the temple in the night. Yeah, and now it was gone. And short after, I went to Herakan, and then the whole sadness came out. I was crying, really. Why the temple has left? And I was praying, sag's mir doch, tell it to me. Yeah. And then the clear voice came, clear knowledge that Babaji has, I must tell something before you understand, going backward. Excuse me, when the first fire was made in Herakan, 79, the very first fire ceremony, which I have ever seen, never before. We have seen a fire ceremony, except when Babaji at 4 o'clock did his fire, as you all know, yeah? But I never saw fire ceremony with other people. And so I had painted the temples, the Divine Mother Temple, which was built then. And I told to Babaji, but Divine Mother Temple must be all golden, not just all these colors. He said, yes, you all golden. Also I ordered gold from Delhi and went up the stairs. It's high to go up there. 2 big ladders and 4 people holding the ladders. And I went up, and I remember I really had fear. I had nothing to hold myself except only one hand the bucket and the other the brush, and only the balance of the body. Yeah, I had fear. And downstairs, Yoshi was standing. Maybe you remember Yoshi, shouting at me, how can you fear? Babaji is with you. In this moment, all fear was gone forever. I had never any more fear, and I could balance myself somehow upstairs, painting golden the whole Mother Temple. Anyhow, that was the action before, and then the fire. And I'd never experienced a fire with people around or what. I saw the food lying there. I said, how nice, we will sit with Babaji at the fire and can eat. It looked a little odd, the Indian. I had not a clue. But in India, you never know what it is. And even if it looks odd, it tastes good. So I thought to eat this. But then Babaji came with a whole group of men, and they all, this very first fire in Herakan, and they were all sitting around, not to eat, but to offer this, I learned, yeah. And they were squeezed between men all around. And then a priest came to Babaji and said, with dead, killing eyes, he looked at me. I thought something seemingly is wrong, yeah? And he spoke to Babaji, and Babaji sent him off. And he looked to me very deeply, very deep. I knew something special is going. And then they all started to offer. And it was the other state. When the fire was finished, Tara Devi, maybe you remember her, beautiful lady from America, lovely, lovely lady. She ran to me and said, Babaji will have now all gods against him because this is forbidden since time exists, that a young human lady offers to the fire. Boom. I thought, my goodness, I didn't have a clue. Yeah? I was innocent like anything in the story. Then short after this, Babaji was walking to me, next to me, very peaceful and loving. And he had a brown thing in the hand, paper around, and he gave this to me. I thought, this is nice, huh? Can't be so bad. And he gives me a gift, yeah? Later it turned out it was chandan inside, which I would have to give in the little temple, which was not yet built, to the Murti he gave to me, chandan. Anyhow, in the evening I went to this fire. You know, the Kailash fire, at the Kailash side on ashram, you have to walk over all the stones up. And I said, thank you. I knew something special has happened, but I just thanked, yeah. And when I went up to cross the river and go up, I suddenly had a deep wound in my leg, down there. My goodness, and this became a white circle around. It looked horrifying. In very short time, I ran to Babaji. Babaji, look. And he said, look, I look. And it dawned in me that now he must take out everything of me what is not yet penetrated with divine light. Yeah? And I said this to him. He said, okay. But Tara Devi had mentioned, you must be incredibly pure that Babaji has allowed this. This is forbidden since all ages. A young woman offers. Anyhow, so happily my visa was finished. I had to go after 2 days because with this wound, something needed to happen, yeah? Anyhow, boom, boom. This at home, of course, they wanted to put me in hospital with this because nobody understood what was this. The thing was that it was spreading also to the other leg and really very difficult. And I went to Dina Rees. Do you know about Dina Rees? Many know her. Yeah, she's a wonderful lady, no more living now, but then very clairvoyant and a professor of medicine also. And I went to Dina and I said, Dina, what is this? How can it heal? Nobody knew. Yeah. And he said, this has the divine Stechmücke. Eine Mücke, what is a Mücke in English? I don't know. A picking little animal has picked you there. And normally, after 2 days, you're blind. After 1 week, you're dead. This is what I had. But the Lord has put his hand over you. So obviously the gods wanted my life. Yeah, that was clear. But he has put his hand over you and said to the gods, you cannot have her life, but you can have her temple. This is why I had to repeat when I told you the temple was gone. This is what he has said to the gods. You cannot have her life, but you can have her temple, which she's going to build after the full time. Full time is 12 years. So after 12 years, it went up. The God said, now the temple. It went instead of my life. What a story. When I heard this, I was relieved. Yeah, then I understood. So, but then when the temple has left, the garden became the whole garden became a temple. What Muniraj has said at the beginning already. And grace to Peter Dawking and my Peter. It was very clear how, yeah, like the human being, the temple stood in this part of the divine. And then the throat chakra and the heart, the fireplace was in the heart. So the whole garden unfolded as a temple. And Peter Caddy, this most wonderful man, I will marry him immediately again. He had, yeah, next life. We agreed already in this really wonderful being. He has been digging deep 2 spades, not just 1 spade. He said for the divine, the light to enter into the garden, not to be above, to enter into, you have to dig deep. So, like this, he made beds and all the beauty which a garden has now. And then after 9 years later, after the temple has left, 9 years later, we were doing together with others puja, Paduka puja and so. I said, I must go in the garden now immediately. And I don't interrupt usually things like that. But I went with a friend. He said, I come with you. And we saw at the mouse place, the garden is like the human being really. And we have, it's a big story. It's a really big story, how it all is. Anyhow, there is a mouse place, there's a Jupiter place, Mercury place, Venus place, Saturn. As the whole thing is a whole divine temple with all the chakras. Anyhow, we have tea lights in all these places, little tea lights, beautiful done with little lights in them. And the light actually goes straight, yeah? But in this case, it made curves, as if you want to make a rose, yeah? The light made curves. I was wondering a little while I passed to go in the center to put the flame there. And my friend, Rudolf, a fire. He looked in this direction. Yeah. I looked back, and then at the mouse place, in time of nothing, a flame of big like a human being has come into being. All blue fire. Also some light, but also a blue flame, huge blue flame, like a human being so big, has come into being. Rudolf was I said, but look how beautiful it is. We went close, yeah? And so looking full of respect to this event, very touching. And then slowly after some time, it went down to nothing. So, very touching what has happened. About time, huh? Yeah. I told to the others, and next morning, my friend who left with me, she said it was February, snow, yeah? Nothing, no trace of fire or something, nothing. And I spoke Chastity, our wonderful Chastity. I was very close with him, always in connection. And the telephone line to Rajka went much better than to Muniraj at that time. So I said, Chastity, what is this? What does it mean, this big flame there at the mouse place? And instead of answering, he said, now the name of your place, Divine Healing Center. That was his answer. I didn't understand why, but very short after this, it happened that divine beings came to announce their places. The first one was a Buddha who came down between Mars and Mercury in the center. He wanted his place. I only saw a light. Everybody could feel the light, but then I asked, who are you? And he made me know this is a Buddha. And again, Chastity, is it Buddha? Is it true the Buddha wants to stand? Yes, he wants to be between Mars and Mercury. This is a whole story about Steiner spoke. Mars and Mercury in the middle, the Buddha was born between. Anyhow, the Buddha, and then it continues Krishna and Rama, and Jesus was all the time there, but Jesus was moving. He had not a firm place. Babaji had a firm seat, and of course a temple, yeah? But he had also a seat in the garden. But then everybody wanted a place, yeah? Which only is his place. So Jesus got also his place. Krishna, Rama, they all, and we always had to remove bushes to get a place for the divine being. So that is after the flame. And then I thought it's enough now. But then it continued in the round downstairs more around the water. Another enormous energy under a tree. And I thought maybe the ancestors, yeah? I had a connection to, I like to honor them. And I did place and little fire, little light. And when I, with an arati, the Kali was standing there, Mahakali. I thought, my goodness, what an ancestor. Also, I thought no ancestors, there are other places for them, but this is Kali's place. And then it became clear about the other side also announced their place. There were these energies, and then I understood, this is Lakshmi and excuse me, I was so with Kali in the moment. Saraswati and Lakshmi, they also their places. Now the water around was also filled, and at the end there was anyhow the seat for the Divine Mother, beyond. And at the back of the garden there was for Mother Earth. So this is what the flame, 9 years later, the same night, when the temple went ex, the flame was, the gift of the flame was that all the divine beings come down and announcing their places, and there they are. Can you imagine? We are busy to honor them, to honor them all, yeah? And Babaji helps, of course. You know, on Monday and Friday, we have 130 lights in the garden, little lights to candle, to honor all. So it's a very divine garden, really, by grace of God. And Lord Dattatreya came to announce his place at the angel place. That one little later. So very moving when they're all really in Lord Shiva's garden, what Babaji painted. His garden is a home for all the divine beings, his close friends, yeah, Krishna, and the Buddha, yeah. So this is Lord Shiva's temple, yeah.
Wow.
What he inaugurated like that. Anyhow, this is, I made a jump into what I have done then and continue to do. It was every year in Hirakan, as most of us, I believe, have come, and always very profound events with Babaji, deep experience, his divine love, and how he mirrors people, how he mirrors each and every little detail of us. He knows this, yeah? When you understand he's a mirror, it's not his own thing when he's angry with somebody or so, but sometimes happen. So when you look through, you learn a lot. I remember at the very beginning, there was somebody who had a camera, which immediately the photo comes out, yeah? And he took 5 of us with Babaji together. We all looked very different. One has quite like a Chinese, the eyes. And when we looked at the photos, Babaji was really looking like the person. And this in a very short time. Very touching. Being with one, with the other, and always looking on the photo, you could see he looks like the person. I am you. This is what he told us. I am you. And also this most beautiful sentence when he, ich bin hier, I am here to carry your load, to help you, to guide you. Give me your load. Who says this? Yeah. give me your load. And we have to learn to leave it with him. When we give him our load, our problems and whatever. But there's something in us, this is a string that pulls it back and wants to pull us down again, yeah, with a problem or whatever. You have to learn to take a scissor and cut through the string, that it really stays with him. I guess we all know this. But so beautiful. Give me your load. Leave it with me. So this beautiful face, this magnificent face, we all really should inflame others to have this face also. How beautiful to live then. When you know he's with you, he's inside you, he's inside everybody, everything. He helps, he helps, he helps, he helps. So,
Nila, can we give some time for people to ask you questions or anybody else? I mean, you've spoken about so much incredible. Yeah, I'm floored. I'm touched with your stories. I haven't heard all of them, and so
one thing before the questions come, I must add to finish, which is all overwhelming, if I may say. Yeah, and this is I went 3 times to the Tibetan Kailash, because the call was there, and I'm not a mountain person at all. Yeah. Not trained at all. But when Babaji calls you, you can do anything. This is really the experience I had. And the 3rd time, it was Muniraji who inspired us really and who guided it very precisely. We did 9 fire ceremonies in Kailash. Siddheshwar is the Divine Mother Mountain opposite, Manasarova Lake, and Rakshastal. Rakshastal is a demon lake. And usually monks and so on, they go like this. They don't want to look at the demons. But we had the call to make fire there, fire ceremony there, to heal that. Yeah. And with Muniraji grace, when you have Muniraj with you, you can do it with anything. Yeah. The Sherpas were very happy that we had Muniraj with him, and they gave him always food also, you know, caring for him like for us, like he was really there. So we did this 9 fire ceremonies, and at the 10th we went to the high part of Kailash again, back 5,300 meters. And in the night, and we had this tents happily so high, and it was the Thanksgiving fire ceremonies, the 9th, yeah. And in the night I went out. That's why I wanted to really share this. I had to go to the little toilet tent there, yeah. And I look out, and there Kailash, surrounded very regularly by brilliant stars. And on top of Kailash, one star, vibrating, vibrating, vibrating. Utterly moving, you know, that doesn't exist in the sky, that like around the Madonna, the stars are. It doesn't exist. It's a move like that, yeah? But there it was. It was radiant, power, big stars. And I stood there in my nightgown, forgot the cold and everything, only looking, and the star on top, I knew that's Babaji, because he was vibrating and vibrating in the heart, yeah? I forgot everything really, only looking, looking, looking. Finally, I went back in the tent. But the others had slept, they haven't seen that, yeah? But it was so moving, you know, manifestation of these stars. And when I came back to Germany for Muniraji, these stars around Kailash, and on top, this star brilliant like that. Was this Babaji? Yes. I never heard this was yes so powerfully back then. I put the phone down. The next day, I phoned him again. And the other stars, but this is also his divine beings, his friends. Yes, again, yeah. In the meantime, I know who they all were, like Rama and Krishna, Christ, Christian Rosenkreuz. And then also the chastity, he is always guiding the divine when people who serve, yeah. And then, of course, Hanuman and Ganesha. These were the beings standing so powerful as stars around Kailash in the midsummer night, 24 June 2006. Can you imagine how that is when you see God manifesting as stars? This I wanted to share. Now you can ask questions. There's so many things.
And I'm sure there's more that you can keep sharing. That's just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's lovely to hear you. It's lovely to hear you. It's nice to hear. You remember you gave this to me in you gave this to me. When I came to visit you, you gave this to me.
I gave this to you, this card. Oh, yeah. You have it with you, yes.
And this is your prayer.
I'm Vero Baba, yeah. You have this all with you. Yeah, that is from Peter Docking.
Yes,
about Vero Baba.
Yeah. On my trip around the world, I went to her ashram, her retreat, and I had a lovely time. I had divine experiences there. And she did the fire ceremony. She did the evening puja on Saturday evening of Bhairav Baba. In my life, I have never seen a puja like that, never. Every little flower in the garden was like a living God, and we were doing it at night.
Mm.
So every flower, every leaf, there was a candle here, something here, something here. It was the most amazing experience of my life. And she was taking me everywhere to all the small temples that she has made everywhere. And it was absolutely beautiful. And that night, when I went to sleep, I had a divine dream. I told her I had a divine dream of Babaji, and I was feeling very nice about it. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being so wide open. Yeah, really. Yeah. Very beautiful. Come again. You all come again. Yeah, you all come again. It's really such a grace. I wish everybody could meet Babaji. Yeah. You could really understand him also. Look through that he mirrors us and not our stuff on him, but many do, yeah. Then you look through and this divine love, this peaceful love, it is light.
How nice.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And Muniraj, our beautiful Muniraj, yeah. I could share a lot about him also. Deep, deep, deep. Standing on the stairs, a silent king of light, of realms of light. And now I don't know what one is allowed to say at all, yeah, about him. He's so silent. He likes to be very humble and like, I am you, yeah. You do cry?
One of the things that has been very touching to me is how many people are experiencing Babaji very deeply in yesterday, today, and 2 years ago, maybe they didn't get a chance to actually meet him like some of us were fortunate, but he still comes in their hearts. And we've heard so many beautiful stories, Nila. And this is our way of all coming together and sharing that mystery, that glory, that I mean, so I often pinch myself. I don't even know if it's, because I it's hard to even believe it's true when I get into the, I guess, the more regular world or something like that. But here we are, and thank you. I'm just so touched. And we still have lots of time. So, but sometimes people will guide us in a particular way with their questions and then go on. So does somebody have something you'd like to share or ask Nila or add?
No, I would just say a few words how thankful I know Nila a long time and we are deep friends, but I'm again inspired and touched how beautiful you're able to relate your experiences. It is so wonderful for many people who are in the future able to see this satsang. You share it in such a peaceful, divine way that I'm truly impressed. Although I know you a long time, I visit you many times in the house.
Others.
But you have this quality of seeing the divine in a flower, in a star, in the sun, in the moon, and you know him in your heart, and you are able to express it so beautiful. And I'm just enjoyed that we have such a deep connection together. I think I visit you 6, 7, 8 times in your beautiful garden. I've seen it collapsing and growing, and you kept on dancing. She is a great dancer also. I can say that in the times in Huracan or Chilianola, she can break loose and like a butterfly, she goes through the temple. She has many qualities, and I've seen that artistic side of Babaji. He has shown through you this great gift that he can paint. The creativity is as a connection to the divine. You've also established that in the world with how Babaji entrusted to you all these beautiful gifts of painting with the deep stories of the Kranti and the new world. And you've all experienced that on an inner level already. And you know what will happen with humanity and our destiny of this world. I just want to thank you for your beautiful expression of this deep understanding, and many people will be inspired of you not need the physical Babaji anymore. You know, you see him in everything. You experience him in your heart, and you see him like I said, in a flower, in a star. You have this, you learn to live in a divine way, and that will inspire many people of what really Babaji is. No, he is this, yeah, I can't say, I don't want to repeat your words, but what is Babaji? Yeah, pure divine love, the ultimate being. Yeah, and beautiful how you said we have to learn to give everything. Somebody told me, like, we like to give a piece of the cheese to Babaji, as the cheese resembling our problems, but you have to give all your cheese away. But if you can't do that, then at least give every day a little bit until you've given it all away. It's also a beautiful expression. Just thank you, Neil. It's so beautiful to be with you like this. I'm so grateful that I helped to establish this connection. You were first, she was saying, no, I don't have a computer that works with a camera. I will not be able to do that. Please, you find somebody else. But luckily, we found Gisela to help her. She has many divine friends who assist her in her divine life. And so thank you also, Gisela, for building up this relationship that you could share this. Just very thankful to the divine and your presence in this Zoom. I give space to other people who might have some remarks or questions.
Thank you so much. Good job.
Yeah.
Nila, it's lovely to see you after all these years.
Huh?
Go ahead.
It's lovely to see you after all these years. And Hiro Lala's probably how you remember me, but
in your ashram.
Yeah. And I think it's really important that what we've all heard and said is that, Babaji is not inaccessible. He's not gone. He's right with us. And the best is yet to come. It's easy to remember all these fond memories that we had and that past is beautiful, but the best is yet to come. There's so much more we have to do and to give and live, and it's really nice to see you and hear you.
Dankeschön. Thank you very much. With Babaji, we can share endless, so much, yeah, so intensely. But in one day with him, all experience, all happens. Yeah, he can so deep. Yeah, and also so much joy and fun with him. Yeah, yeah. I embrace you all. Is it time? No, not yet.
No, no.
No, we don't let you go for a while. You're here with us.
What?
I said, you still have much time. We don't let you go for a while. I wanted to just say I was really touched when you know, the first day or two when you saw Baba and you were confused and you said, please help me understand. Please help me. And he did, you know, and I, you know, when I'm humble enough to just say that to Baba when I'm all confused or, you know, having a hard time, things are difficult, you know, people coming and going, dying, doing different, you know, lots going on. When I just say, Baba, help me, it is true when it's coming from my heart that I just feel his arms around me. And I think that's such, like Hiraman said, it's huge blessing, and it keeps getting strong more and more and more. So he is here all the time. That love is here, that's gracious. So, and we sometimes do need to ask. So that really touched me.
Danke. Danke, 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 danke.
I want to thank Nila. I was in your garden. It's a mandala. Hi. Hi, Nila. I was in your garden long ago, 20 years ago, and you showed me around and the moon house, and it was very wonderful. And I remember a story you told me going up the Kailash, and that you only could do this because you did always the mantra Om Namah Shivaya. And many people went up, get this illness, you know, because it gets higher and higher. And you, I remember this very good. You said you remembered so tight, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, that you all could go up and down without any illness. So this was very touching for me. That this is
Kailash.
yes.
Kailash.
Oh, it was the Tibet Kailash you told me.
Kailash.
Yeah, the Tibet Kailash.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you were there, yeah,
Yeah.
and that many people got ill, of course, because you know they went too fast, and you were doing always the mantra Om Namah Shivaya, and it all went well. Yeah, yeah. So
it's his grace. It's his grace, really. You walk and walk, and you can't walk anymore, but you still walk. Yeah, so many times. Yeah, however, Babaji is just magic how he does things. Yeah, we all know. This is the beauty, that it's so surprising and also so natural, both all the time. You look. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and protect us. Yes. Yeah. So thank you for your stories and showing me your garden and stuff. Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah.
For the Tibetan Kailash, I went 17 times up the Herakan Kailash. You know, our Kailash in Herakan. I went 17 times up, each time a different experience. When you go, sometimes so tough and sometimes so the upper part you were just carried up. Yeah. Remember when I was first time at the Herakan Kailash, just a few days, in these first few days with Babaji. And he said, yes, you go up. And Miss Gora Devi at the time, she was my guide. And I was standing up there and I saw souls and souls and souls are coming up, as if they go to the large judgment or something. those who have just freshly died, yeah, they all went up the mountain. I was very touched. I had not a clue that the place is like that. First time, yeah. And then there's a big story again. Babaji. How deep is our home on earth in Herakan for all of us, yeah? It's our home. Our home. You remember when Babaji left his body and we went down the stairs, Pujari, and we looked up and there was a huge circle of stars around the moon. And we had only one word, this is God. Yeah, Babaji had left today, his body. This is God. This was the answer of the sky.
Yeah, he became everything. Mount Kailash, the sky, Baba became everything. We could see that Baba is everything, the whole cosmos. Yeah.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
I would like to say a few words that for people to understand. You wrote some beautiful books, Nila. Even one is in Russian. I saw it here in a Russian bookshop.
There is a Russian book. I have it here. Can you see?
Yes, a beautiful blue cover in Russian language, yeah.
It's also in English. English?
Yeah.
And in German, of course.
Encounters with Babaji. So for people to know, this book is available, and she's written more books, also all her private experiences. This is the main book that she wrote some years ago, Encounters with Babaji, Master of the Himalaya, by Nila Caddy. So people can find it.
Yeah. And this is in the moment only in German. This is very much in connection with Muniraj, who made me do the fire ceremonies for really for the new world. Yeah, these two books, they belong together. This would have been too big to put it in one book. It would be wonderful.
The birth of the new world, the birth of the new world. Yeah, and it explains
if
many.
It could come in English, would be great. It's not yet printed in English, only in German. Anyhow.
Can you say that name, please? The English name one more time. The English title, the book, which is in English. That can you say the title of that, please? Encounters with Babaji by whom?
Nila Caddy. Nila Caddy. Okay, there it comes again. Masters of the Himalayas by Nila Caddy. If we there it comes.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, I got it.
Good.
Like Peter Caddy, yeah? You know, he wanted Fenton.
I think you married also in India, in Herakan, you married with Peter.
Married in Herakan. And
right.
On the way with Peter to Herakan, in order to get married on Christmas Day, that is what Muniraj has told us, we were walking through the river, and then three ladies with big grass were coming through the river, and who came behind them? A most beautiful young man with radiant eyes, penetrating us like anything. It was Babaji, yeah. And Peter was just fixing his tennis shoes for the river firmly, because that was the deepest place where he came. And we were, of course, touched, both he with his shoes looking up and me standing there, about this most beautiful being, never seen in the valley, like somebody like that, yeah? And then we arrived in Herakan, asked Muniraji, and chastity, this was Babaji, in the form of Bero Baba. Also in this form, he had a light blue string around here and something light blue. And so in the form of Bero Baba, he said. But Bero Baba, utterly beautiful, yeah? So that was how we welcomed Peter in Herakan, Babaji, yeah. And in greeting him when we came very first time to Herakan. So I had met Babaji also on Kailash in Tibet. If I may say, as a young boy coming down, everybody went up. It was at the beginning when it went around the huge mountain. And an utterly beautiful young boy, with his hand up for blessing, was walking down. Very unusual, small, with his hand rising. Very touching, this young boy, with hand blessing. And one lady, a Tibetan, was walking before me, and she was in sheer bliss with him. Oh, yeah. Seemingly she has met him before also. And then I knew somehow this is extraordinary. And while walking later around the big high mountain, I knew it was Babaji then. Yeah, it's a boy blessing our intense walk. For me, as a non-walker of mountains, you must really know, non-walker, except Herakan, Kailash, but nothing else. And then on the way back, if I may say, I was with the Finton group the first time, 12 people we were. And I was walking alone, you know, so we were freely walking. And then suddenly we had sticks, yeah, mountain sticks. That helps a lot. And then suddenly a young boy, not so young, maybe 18 or 20, but in the distance I saw he can see to all sides. This was visible with him. He's being like that. And he ran to me very quickly, taking my stick, looking very close, so being very close, fiery eyes like anything, no words, but holding my stick. I hold my stick too. I was wondering, shall I give it to him? He seemingly likes to get the stick. But I thought I need the stick for the stiff mountain, which I remembered from the coming to Kailash. So I hold my stick. I thought I give it to the Sherpas after the mountain, but not yet now. Holding the stick, intense, looking all the time. And there were two very tall men, young men, with him. Tibet, the Nepal people are not so tall at all, yeah. So I was wondering, they belong to him, yeah. And then he turned to them and he said, "We go." And he left my stick with me, and the two went to him. And one of them was very intensely looking at me, very kindly. And then they all left. And later I learned, telling Shastri and Munivaji, and this was Babaji, Herakan Baba, the Lord of the Mount Kailash, he's the Lord. And the old Herakan Baba, we only know this old picture of him, but this was Babaji in young form, very young. So that was again big gift. And the two who followed him, one of them, I hardly don't dare to say, but one who looked so intense was Peter. He had left the body already, yeah, then. So, and I was told before I went to Kailash that I would meet Peter, yeah, but I forgot about this, you know, when you walk. So, what a blessing. Yeah? He helped Peter to have a body, to walk with him and to disappear. So amazing, yeah, so beautiful. Much more, my goodness. But the most powerful with the stars, this is the deepest, yeah, deeper than a physical form. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So I wish you all to have most beautiful events with Babaji. That is such a power for the heart, yeah. for the heart. The heart, we are all a heart. And I wish for all men that they become a heart with a flame. The heart is ourself and the flame is our longing for God. And when we long so deeply, God has to come down, has to do everything. We all know this. I don't need to tell you. A heart with a flame.
I know you brought Muniraji to Findhorn, and with your longing and desire from Peter and you, Nila, that Muniraji also went to Findhorn. Maybe you can speak a few words about how that came together. That was a very wonderful.
Peter took him to Findhorn. Peter
okay.
Peter
Yeah.
invited him and a group of 10 people. They came all to Findhorn. And Peter showed Muniraj everything, yeah? And Muniraj was unknown to the people. You know, he was like one who came. And what can I say from this? We gathered around him and we were singing the Arati, yeah? But the Findhorn people, we didn't enough time to introduce them who is Muniraji, yeah? Also Peter was not able to do that, and it was all very quick, intense. And Muniraj was impressed, of course. He went in the kitchen of Cluny Hill looking at the salads and everything.
Yes,
You know,
because
he looked at
showing
everything.
him a modern ashram, showing him a Western setting of an ashram under Peter's guidance also. And Peter was very beautiful. I was there with it also.
You were
they were like two brothers showing each other their work. No, Peter was showing his work, how Findhorn was working and how strong he had to be there and build it up.
And then were you in Findhorn?
Huh? Yeah.
You were in Findhorn?
Yeah, I was in Findhorn there with Muniraji and Peter and the whole, the small group of people enjoying it. Yeah.
It's a deep, deep story how it all came into being. Very different than Auroville, for instance, yeah? Auroville, the big vision of the mother, and they all came, the people of the world. And in Findhorn, it just started with a little caravan. I mean, there are many books which Eileen or others wrote. And also the one book I have not with me now, Peter's autobiography, very thrilling to read, really. Nila Caddy, yeah, autobiography. My goodness, what a life he had. Every second, boom, boom, boom. So intense, so intense. And we had from beginning on this deep love immediately. But I was with Marcel and he was with Eileen. So it didn't fit in 1975 when we met in Schloss Schöneck. Yet in the plan, yeah, that he would come together, but later, and we were always in contact together. And it's a big story, a beautiful story with Peter. And when two strong people, he said, you are my polarity, yeah? But two polarities, if you have met your polarity, or you, that is not the most easy thing, because both are intense, yeah? And then this love, which makes it all possible, when we have really different opinions or so, yeah? Especially concerning the garden, Peter cutting things for healthy trees and or bushes and so, and I was not thrilled about this cutting thing. So for instance, yeah, many big, much to say, much to learn, beautiful to learn. And then the big hug, yeah, we always had to hug each other. Peter Duffy said, you're kissing and hugging you all the time. Because we are such a polarity, and when we hug, then this is no more feelable. Or how to say, then the oneness is there, yeah? Big. Oh, much to share. Much to share. And short after he left his body by accident, a car shooting in his car. Oh, awful. I was with Chastity at the time in India, with Peter Dorking. And then the call, Peter has left. It was a death shoot of my life, really. I thought we live at the same time, even if Peter was 20 years older, but he was so young, yeah? And Chastity says 5 minutes later, Rahu Saturn would have gone. Then he would have lived a long time. But it happened that he left. But short after this, he came when we were in a restaurant with Peter Dorking sitting, and he brought Rock with him. Rock, you know, is a person who saw the nature spirit, and Pan in Finton. Good Pan. And he came to our table in subtle bodies, and he put a box. There was a ring inside, 2 rings. And he said, Peter said, now that I see more, I want to marry you the more again next life. I have brought already here my testimony, rock, and the rings. It's clear for next life. So that he very short after he left, short. Hallelujah. So this love is all the time there. And I guess we all have a polarity which we meet again through many lives. Peter Dorking said, you have been everything for each other. His son, his father, his mother, even his enemies, you were together. So we know each other's story.
Nila, I don't know if you can see me, it's Gayatri. I want to thank you because I've had a very hard week, and my boyfriend was murdered Tuesday night, and you helped me so much today by telling me, give me your load, because I haven't wanted to. I always want to give Babaji the beautiful things and not my pain or my sadness. And I felt you were talking directly, that Babaji was talking to me through you now, to just say, give me your load and your pain. So I thank you very much, because I can offer that also to him now. And you helped me. So thank you, sister. I love you.
Thank you. Oh.
I wish I could be in your garden right now. And I am in my heart. Yeah. Give me
Bole Baba Kita.
Jai. Jai. Jai.
Gayatri, you're in all of our prayers. Since you told me on Tuesday or Wednesday, I've just been praying and praying.
Thank you, love. Thank you.
You know, it's a time that people's arms around you are, we need each other, and Babaji the most, that love. So thank you.
You all cry?
Yeah, they're all crying. Oh, everybody has left. Everybody. We are one beyond the physical, but in the physical is big struggling. Missing our partners.
I thank you so much for listening so full-heartedly, yeah, full consciously, fully.
Maybe.
Yes, it's like we all got a bath of love and light from your transmission. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And this beautiful.
Did Babaji name the drawings that he did? Did he say this is the new world, or is that your interpretation? Did he give name to his paintings?
To his paintings?
Yes. Did he name them? Like when you say this is the garden, or this is the new world, did he tell you this?
This is second book.
Oh.
He painted with watercolors. The second, the first just with crayons.
Mm.
And so, yeah, he, for instance, here he said, this Nila is blue, yeah, but this is red. Always a teaching in it. And this little sun only. That means when you are in your ego, this is little sun only, but also a sun. However, so he, in a way, he made me know what he was meaning, yeah. And here you see the Om Namah Shivaya. You see upstairs?
Yeah.
Can you see it from here? This is a new Om when he penetrates.
I love that one.
So Om is different than before, yeah. So he made me know, yeah, in the heart what was meant here. And sometimes it came a little later that it clicked, yeah. He plays so beautiful, yeah. He gives you one little thing to the other and suddenly, cling, you understand, this is what he meant. Best is if the mind keeps silent. Here, all about our heart.
I love that one.
His heart is red, not white. I thought his heart is white, untouched, but he paints it red, yeah? So, as this is a healing place, he called it Philippine. Philippine. He called me often Philippine number 4. Nila told me that means you are healing from the 4th heaven. There are 7 heavens. But I don't know this. That's what she said. Anyhow. You are so kind to help me.
Oh, this doesn't work.
These all were answers on events that has happened with him. Yeah, the paintings. I can't explain it all, yeah. But look how blissful this is. Pure bliss.
I believe there is a book with most of the paintings, but for sure not all of them.
Yes.
I don't know if that's in English also, but I've seen a book with paintings in the past. But it would be a beautiful thing to have your personal books kind of copied in a beautiful way to make it publishable.
It's true, yeah. There's a Grail Castle, in my understanding, this book. Which you cannot walk to, you must be called, and suddenly you are in it. So, but thank you. This was the last. After this
doesn't work.
In this book, yeah.
This doesn't work.
A friend, a very clairvoyant friend, he said he painted all the pages, and he described what he saw, yeah. And but he painted your paintings, which he will do through you, through me, yeah. He already made them here, yeah. And it was great fun to look through the different pages, which have only numbers, but nothing is visible otherwise. But I know when he comes, he told me also, when I And I paint quickly. So, and the speed, how a painting comes quick into being. And when I feel his presence, when I prayed also before, then I know Babaji has done this. Yeah? Through me painting, yeah? You understand?
Yes.
Then I would have to say, this is Babaji's painting, but I don't do like that for the other people, yeah? But usually they say, this is very strong. Then I say, yes, Babaji came. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. I love that. I think a few people had their hands raised. Pradeep, did you want to ask a question? Pradeep?
Somebody ask?
Go ahead. You need to, we're not hearing you very well.
I want to talk Hindi. My question
No,
for
sometimes English, back in English.
Go ahead.
What would you like me to do? It's finished now. Time.
Pradeep, we cannot hear you.
Someone tries to ask a question, Nila.
Yeah? Which question?
But we can't hear the question yet.
Very sweet.
Silent question.
Thank you.
Silent answer.
Thank you. To be happy, Babaji wants us, yeah?
Did anybody else have a question?
Mm?
my question for
I know many people have been putting in the chat how grateful they are to hear these. They're not even stories, these experiences, yeah. And I guess what comes up for me is your willingness to be open and experience them.
Experiences continue. No end.
Right.
No end. Yeah.
My mantra, if I may say secretly, is always, I love you, Lord. I thank you, Lord. Do you hear?
Yes.
I love you, Lord. I thank you, Lord. I will go often walking. I love you, Lord. I thank you, Lord. Just like this. So much to thank you, to thank him, to thank all of us. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Love you, Nila. So beautiful how you're also humbly moved through Hirakan or Chilianola or around Muniraji. You are such a sweet, invisible bubble of love and devotion. I'm so grateful for this satsang where you express this deep wisdom and inspiration for many people. Really, you already touched my heart many times, but this satsang is very, 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 very valuable for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you deeply for listening so deeply, so profoundly. Only when you listen, you can understand so deeply. Yeah. Dhanava. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
And the beauty is also that hundreds of people will get to experience this forever. I mean, that's what inspired me years ago to get all these beautiful stories and experiences, because they touch our heart, and people are still watching experiences that we videotaped 20 years ago, and the people aren't here, Radhasham, people like that, you know. And so this is so precious. So it's here for all of us. So thank you. It's been deeply for me, helpful to be more and more aware of the miracle of Baba all around us, the miracle of the divine everywhere. It's not even a miracle, it's natural. It's the truth.
Thank you deeply for calling me to come.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And to be able to put that devotion into action like that and create so much beauty, the gardens, the temples. I'm, I have difficulty being an action person. And I'm just so inspired and appreciate that, hearing that. Thank you.
Danke. I hug you all.
Thank you. And thank you, Nila, so much. And next week we have Karku and Jamuna and Maria Elena, who's Jamuna's mother, at the same time and same place. And if it's not too much to load your head with, the following week, Harakan will be having, India will be having their conclave, we call it here, Conclave 3 on the Saturday, the 23rd of July, celebrating Guru Purnima, a little bit earlier, and I will post that link everywhere. So we'll have our satsang on Sunday, the 24th, and it'll be our Guru Purnima satsang. And everyone is welcome to share their story of their love for Babaji and how that, so it'll be a wonderful time together. So Nila, perhaps you can join us again. It would be beautiful. So all of you, thank you again.
Thank you.
Love to
Bole
every-
Baba ki
Bole
jai.
Baba ki jai.
Jai ho.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
South Africa, Cape
Love
Town,
you.
South Africa. Om
Thank
Namah
you.
Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
I've just finally, I've technically challenged and I just tuned in about 10 minutes ago. Nila, I'm so blessed to have met you in these short couple of minutes that I've managed to listen and hear you, but I'll tap in again. Love you. Love your love. Om. Heria Kandis. Om.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Babaji.